Chances are by now you know who returned at NXT tonight, and you'll have an opinion on that return, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But the one thing that I think was a great return for tonight for NXT was the return to building new stars. There is a real push right now to get that next batch of NXT guys up to the tippity top. You could say all the way to the moon. This is NXT Graded. Danny Burch and Karrion Kross get us underway. Scarlett is becoming more animated every week, and I am absolutely here for it. Danny Burch actually holds his own against Kross. As soon as he runs into the ring, he's calling for the bell to sound so he can get started. At one point, very awkwardly, nearly drops Kross right on his head with the cactus clothesline over the rope. Kross gives him a receipt with a choke drop onto the floor. Burch gets a fair bit of offense in on Kross, even manages to almost get a pinfall victory over him and nearly gets a submission, but Kross will not be denied. He powers up from a crossface, hits some Doomsday Saitos and a cross jacket for the submission win. And after this, suddenly the champ hits the ring. Here comes Keith Lee. He's got in his hand a contract. He said he has pleaded with William Regal to make the match with him and Kross official for TakeOver 30. He's even promised to not lay a finger on Karrion Kross between now and TakeOver, and all they need is the signature from Kross. Scarlett picks up the contract, takes it up the ramp to Karrion Kross. Kross signs it. Scarlett kisses it and brings it back. Keith picks it up off the ground, opens the contract, and a fireball bursts in Keith Lee's face. Medical staff hit the ring. Keith Lee is blinded. He is just bellowing like a wounded animal as Kross and Scarlett admire their handiwork from the top of the stage. And then we watch as Keith Lee gets tended to, staggering around, calling for Karrion Kross as he's walking through the backstage area, towels roped on his face to cool down his eyes. It's quite a striking segment, which I'm giving an A- to. I thought the Kross-Burch match was good. I thought Burch got too much in. I know that sounds counterproductive when we're building new people, but I feel like Kross should have been a bit more dominant here. Now, a fire segment can go horribly wrong. You just ask Hogan and Ultimate Warrior from Halloween Havoc that time. But this went really well. The one thing I think dragged the grade down for this segment as well was they kind of lingered on it a bit too long, because it bleeds into the next match where we've got a picture-in-picture and in some cases just a whole dominating shot of Keith Lee being tended to by medical staff. Within the first 35 seconds, we get the vibe that Keith is hurt and he's being seen to by medical personnel. And it took away from the following match and just went on a bit too long, which is what brings the grade down. But it's still A-. Still great work by Kross and Lee. Still a big fan of this. The match that it bled into was Killian Dain versus Drake Maverick. This match was just a background for all that stuff that went on before. And just as Keith Lee gets taken to the hospital, so you think, okay, right, focus back on this match. We see Drake Maverick hitting a dive outside the ring, a big elbow drop on Killian Dain. Then the Undisputed Era bum rush the ring. They take out Dane, they take out Maverick. Adam Cole gets on the mic and he throws down the challenge to Pat McAfee to be at NXT next week ahead of their match at TakeOver. And that's where we leave things there. Giving this bit a B. There wasn't really the match again. There was nothing really to write home about for the match. It was background noise. I'm sad that Drake Maverick already feels a bit forgotten. Like he was just part of a nothing match to bleed two bits together here. You know, it was only like a month ago he was in the mix with Santos Escobar, and that just seems to have quietly gone to the one side. So it's a shame that he's now already forgotten, but Adam Cole's promo was very good. Once again calling out Adam Cole, which pushes the grade up. Speaking of the Cruiserweight champion, Santos Escobar is out. He's facing Tyler Breeze one-on-one. He sends Raul Mendoza and Whacking Wild to the back because there's no Fandango this week. He is hurt after their attack from last week. So Tyler is easy pickings. Intense work by Santos Escobar in this match, just slowly, methodically beating down Breeze. When Breeze finally starts to get the wind in this match, hits a supermodel kick onto Escobar. Here come Legado del Fantasma to run distraction, which allows Santos the time to hit that phantom driver for the 1-2-3. They're going to beat down Tyler Breeze after this. And then from the top of the ramp, here's Fandango with a mop. He breaks the mop head off. So he's a man with the handle of a mop versus a faction. He goes at it. He's got one bad arm. He's got a mop in the other, and he gets a couple of shots in on Whacking a Mendoza, but he is just overrun as well. So the Legado del Fantasma beatdown continues from here. And here comes Isaiah Swerve Scott to make the save to run off Santos Escobar. We're still telling the story that Escobar has lost to Swerve Scott, the only person that he lost to in that Cruiserweight tournament. And that's the match that we're building to. We find out later on we're getting a 6-man tag team match next week. Trios action, if you will, with Legado del Fantasma taking on Breezango and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Giving this a B, some good intensity from Escobar here. Just didn't quite hit me timing and pace-wise, which is why the grade's not much higher than that. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Swerve Scott being in that position to get a Cruiserweight Championship match, presumably at TakeOver, is a good one, because Swerve's great. I want to see Swerve and Santos. That is where we're going. We get a vignette with Dakota Kai talking up her match at TakeOver against Io Shirai. She says she doesn't need friends or allies or mercenaries or bodyguards or anybody. She's going it alone, and she's going to become the NXT Women's Champion. I've been a really big supporter of Kai's for a long time, and I have said quite openly that I didn't think that she was ready for this match at TakeOver 30. And just because I feel like the matches that she's had have been good, but compared to the standard on Raw and SmackDown, they've not been there. However, I genuinely believe that Dakota Kai and Io Shirai is going to be a phenomenal match at TakeOver, and I'm going to predict it's going to be the best match of Dakota Kai's career. I'm calling it now. After a quick Ridge Holland vignette where he tells us that pain's coming, it's back to the ring for Indi Hartwell versus Mia Yim. Yim's barely made it back from the hospital after she went off with Keith Lee, didn't she? Because he got his eyes all burnt out. Remember that thing from less than an hour ago? Yim gets to the ring. You can tell that she's flustered, but she takes the fight to Hartwell, who gets a little bit of a break in here with a beauty of a side slam, but this is Mia Yim's night. She uses that energy and that stress and channels it into this match and wins with an armbar stretch, like a reverse armbar stretch submission. Gets the tap on Hartwell, has her arm raised, and then immediately just goes back to stressing about Keith Lee. Presumably now she has to go back to the hospital and find somewhere else to park. C+ for this one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was a bit ropey at points. I like the story that it told of Mia Yim having to rush back from the hospital to have this match and then rush back again. It's very real. The match was there. It was a C+. After a promo from Finn Balor where he talks all insider about how The Office want him on TV and all that stuff, and he talks up his match next week against the person not involved in the decision in the triple threat main event, which is a caveat I really like, actually. It adds a little bit of extra jeopardy to this whole ladder match thing, whereby if you don't get pinned in the triple threat, you can have another shot at it. I don't think it was meant to go this way, but obviously injury to Dexter Loomis has led to a few changes in pace, so this is where we're at now. And from that, we have Bronson Reed versus Damian Priest. It is big, beefy boys battering each other. This is my favorite kind of wrestling. Some arm locks, some headlocks, some techers to get started. Then we get the old Big Daddy Giant Haystack stuff with Reed crashing into Priest, trying to knock him over. All we needed is chance of easy, easy, easy. These two constantly change offense back and forth. Some beautiful stuff from both of them, including a gorgeous springboard senton from Damian Priest. chef's kiss. He went for it twice. The second time he went for it, Bronson Reed catches him in a power slam, goes up top for the tsunami splash, but Priest moves out of the way. Priest then goes for the reckoning, and we see Bronson Reed reverse it into a roll-up, cradle type maneuver for the 1, 2, 3. And Reed has defeated Damian Priest. Get in. That was an A- for me. Best match of the night so far. Bronson Reed has just been a joy to watch grow over the last month or so. And this is what I meant at the beginning where I said we're seeing so many more people coming through. Damian Priest very much is a guy who is going to be a major part of the top of the card for many years to come. Bronson Reed seems like a bit of an outsider in this field, but I've loved watching him grow. And they've put him in such a great position now, where even if he doesn't win the ladder match at TakeOver 30, he's already there. He's at the top. It's excellent building. After Cameron Grimes promises us he's going to win tonight's main event and take the North American title to the moon, it's a tag team match. Team Kacy, Kayden Carter and Kacy Catanzaro take on Aliyah and Mercedes Martinez from the Robert Stone brand. Robert makes the offer to Catanzaro for the match to ditch the loser and join the Robert Stone brand. Kacy responds by stamping on Stone's bad foot and hitting a Hurricane Rana on Mercedes Martinez to get this match underway. Team Kacy and Kacy are A-OK in my book. They are just so fluid with their tandem offense, and they get to showcase this loads at the beginning with Aliyah just on the back foot, getting a whole number of double teams from these two. They're great. Martinez gets the tag, and that turns the tide in this match. Kayden gets a beating for a long time, and then Catanzaro gets that hot tag, starts wiping people out left, right, and center. But Mercedes Martinez is a force to be reckoned with. She ends up wiping out Kayden Carter. And then as we see Catanzaro go for that Hurricane Rana again, the one that started the match, she goes for it again on Mercedes Martinez. This time Martinez catches her, repositions her, drops her with an air raid crash for the 1, 2, 3. As the Robert Stone brand celebrates, here comes Rhea Ripley wanting a pound of flesh from Mercedes Martinez, and these two start tearing into each other. Aliyah gets involved to turn the deck against Rhea Ripley, but then here comes Shotzi Blackheart without her helmet. If you've been following the news, you'll know what that's about. That's a little bit gutting. But here comes Shotzi Blackheart to even the odds, sends the Robert Stone brand packing. B- for this match. The end segment I really enjoyed. Like the build to Rhea versus Mercedes feels very right. I want to see these guys have like an Extreme Rules or a no holds barred type affair. I think they just rip the place to shreds. And top marks as well for Kacy Catanzaro and Kayden Carter. Just a team that was sort of thrown together and has just been grafting. And every time they get in there, they get a little bit better, a little bit crisper, a little bit fresher. And I'm enjoying their work as a tag team. I'm enjoying in general when you look across the landscape of WWE. There are some really great green shoots coming up in the women's tag team division. You know what? I would like to see, and I think we're a month or so away from that, depending on how they can turn around the booking for them. I'd love to see Team Kacy and Bayley and Sasha on an episode of NXT. That'd be pretty cool. We are at home with the Garganos. We've got Candice LeRae reading a bedtime story to the dog and Johnny Gargano changing a light bulb. But we are doing the psycho monologues in this, as well as Candice starts talking about the story of the dragon and the pixie, referencing the Welsh dragon, Tegan Knox, saying that basically she's going down. Johnny Gargano talks about how there's so many great new stars in NXT, but he is the one that is going to fix the company. And he says the next time he is up a ladder, he won't be changing a light bulb as he was. He will be becoming the NXT North American champion. They're wearing matching tracksuits, and there's a photo of Doc Hendricks on the wall. Beautiful. So we come to main event o'clock, and it's Cameron Grimes versus Kushida versus a mystery opponent. The winner goes on to NXT TakeOver 30. Out comes Grimes, out comes Kushida, out go the lights, up come the lights, and there on a chaise longue at the top of the ramp is Velveteen Dream back for the first time in a good month or so. It's been quite a while since we've seen him in ring, let alone at Full Sail. And Mauro Ranallo says that Velveteen Dream was taking some time off while after losing the NXT Championship opportunity he had at TakeOver in Your House. And he's back to make an impression here. To be honest, in this match, the impression was made by Kushida. Kushida, very quickly in the start of this match, takes Velveteen Dream out of action, handspring and a tornado DDT. We have Cameron Grimes and Kushida with some excellent back and forth action here. Dream gets back into this match and lights the place up, but Kushida eventually shuts them down, and then a series of kicks from all parties leads to a triple down. Kushida once again fights back into this match. We see him hit a dive to the outside of the ring on Velveteen Dream. Back in the ring, he gets that hoverboard armbar onto Cameron Grimes. Dream comes off the top with the Purple Rainmaker. It's that one, isn't it? Yeah. Purple Rainmaker. As he hits the ground, we see Kushida lock him into the hoverboard instead. And Dream is trying to position Kushida back upright onto his shoulders for a Dream Valley driver. And Kushida's still got this hoverboard armbar locked in. And as these two are jockeying for position, here's Cameron Grimes with the cave-in onto Kushida, who's essentially on Dream's back, takes him out, throws Dream out of the ring, covers Kushida for the 1-2-3, and Cameron Grimes is on his way to the North American Championship ladder match. To the moon, to the moon. After the match, Dream gets into the ring, slaps the face of Kushida and just starts beating on him. The refs try and get into the ring to stop him, and Dream, like a rabid dog, just chases the referees away. He's dribbling at one point. It's a weird look for Velveteen Dream. He stands on the top rope, hot dogging and all grandstanding after he's beaten up Kushida. And then as he gets down, there's Finn Balor in his face. Next week, Finn Balor is facing off against Velveteen Dream. Since neither of them were pinned in their triple threat matches, they're having a match next week to determine the final slot in that ladder match. And that is where we close for the night. Main event for me was an A. Excellent work by all three in ring. Some beautiful set pieces. Kushida was the star though. I feel like that was probably by design, as Velveteen Dream got some stuff in, but it didn't really feel like he was the focus of that match. Maybe there was a feeling that there was going to be some controversy with Velveteen Dream returning. So they're changing up his character. It feels like we're getting a very different kind of Velveteen Dream. Like by the end of this match, he started off walking down the ramp as like old school Dream, sort of slow and boastful and smooth. And then by the end of the night, he was like disheveled, dribbling, angry, biting, slapping, scratching. So whether this is going to become like a new Velveteen Dream, one that's a little bit edgier and a little less sort of cool, calm and collected, I'm very intrigued to see. But Kushida was the star of this match in ring. I thought he was phenomenal here. And Cameron Grimes, another example of somebody that they have just been slowly pushing towards the top. I thought last week was kind of the end knell for Cameron Grimes' run on the main show, on the near the main event. But how wrong was I? Tonight he wins this triple threat match. He's on his way to the moon, isn't he? He's on his way to the moon. And this week overall, NXT for me was a B. Was it the best NXT ever? No chance. There was stuff in there that didn't quite work, didn't quite flow as well as I think they'd hoped, but we are building towards NXT TakeOver 30, and the way that is shaping up right now, it could be one of the best shows of the year. Like in terms of like the matches that we're seeing happening, not everything I don't think is going to set the world on fire, but there's enough good stuff in there that I'm ready to see. Stay safe. Love you, bye.